All right, let's get into it. So every month, our global honeypots give us this amazing window into what attackers are thinking and, well, what they're doing. I've been digging through all the data from December 2025, and honestly, there are some pretty fascinating trends to talk about.
And the sheer scale of this stuff, it's just wild. In December alone, we saw over 165 million potential attack events. Now, what does that mean? Basically, you can think of it like automated bots just constantly knocking on every digital door they can find, checking for a way in. It's just this constant hum of activity across the entire internet.
So, okay, with all that noise, what were they actually targeting? Let's take a look at the services that got the most, shall we say, unwanted attention last month.
Yeah, no surprise here, really. Microsoft SQL servers were by far the #1 target. I mean, they took up a huge piece of the pie. And right behind that, you've got your remote access services, VNC and RDP. And that makes total sense, right? If you're an attacker, getting remote control of a machine is kind of the holy grail. Then to round things out, we have SIP, that's for your internet phone calls, and good old SSH, which is always on the list.
Okay, but looking at just 1 month is like looking at a single frame of a movie. You don't get the full story. To really see what's going on, you need context. So let's bring November into the picture and see how things have changed.
So at first glance, this looks pretty much the same, right? I mean, the same 5 services are in the top 5 for both months. But, and this is the important part, when you look closer at the actual numbers, that's when a totally different story starts to emerge. This is where it gets interesting.
And this really shows you just how quickly things can change out there. So let's zoom in and spotlight the 3 biggest shifts we saw between November and December.
First up, MS SQL. The most popular target got, well, even more popular. The activity didn't just stay flat. It actually jumped by almost 8.5 million events. That tells you that attackers found something they liked, and they really decided to pile on.
But on the flip side, look at VNC. We saw a really big cooldown here. I mean, activity dropped by almost 10 million. Now, that's a clear signal that priorities are shifting. That focus, that effort, it didn't just vanish into thin air. It had to go somewhere else.
And that brings us to what I think is the biggest surprise of the month. The really dramatic change wasn't about something moving up or down in the top 5. Nope, it was about a service that was barely even a blip on our radar back in November.
And here it is, MySQL. Just look at that jump. Attacks on MySQL databases absolutely exploded. We're talking a more than 6-fold increase. It went from under 2 million events to over 12 million. That kind of surge is huge and has shot MySQL right up into the #6 spot for December, basically out of nowhere.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's that this whole landscape is constantly shifting under our feet. Sure, MS SQL is still king of the hill and is getting even more attention. But at the same time, attackers are moving on from old favorites like VNC and are very rapidly pointing their tools at new things like MySQL. It just proves that what's a low priority 1 month can easily become a major headache the next.
Which really leaves you with a big question, doesn't it? When attacker priorities can pivot this hard, this fast, in just 30 days, how in the world do you stay ahead of it? It really hammers home that the real challenge isn't just defending against today's threats, it's trying to figure out what's coming tomorrow.